first as a leader of the party, must accept that as the leader, he did not see it fit to put in place a structure, because going forward in a neighbor, it's going to become even more riskier and riskier, you know, as it relates to misinformation and disinformation, you know. The world is changing.
I know, sir. Did you know this protected? Don't forget your answer, and I want you to answer that question there. That in the last election, you know, a poster came out purportedly coming from Dayton Campbell, saying that the PNP was leading because of exit polls. After the election, the workers voted, police and elected, and it came out from on a PNP logo with the general. The PNP did not deny it, and the Labour Party did not say a word about it. Now, it would be great to study what effect that had on motivating PNP voters to come out on election day.
It had some effect, neighbor, and maybe that study may never happen, or that study will happen some years down the road for the generation that comes after you and I to examine. But the truth is, when you study psychology, everything impacts decision. Everything impacts decision. The PNP knows this. They understand this. They knows this, you know. Them know, them understanding 100%.
Address the matter that I raised with you, that the
party failed the Prime Minister.
The achievement of the Prime Minister was not reflected in the election. And that would be a failure of the party to support him.
It's a failure of the party, but it's, again, as I said, it's also a failure of the leader of the party, because the party doesn't stand by itself. It has a leader. Now, the leader must from now look down the road 4 or 5 years from now and understand that the landscape, the political landscape, is going to even become harder to navigate. So what you do, you put in place structures that will support.
Are you saying to me that the party should not think that winning a 4th term is a foregone conclusion?
The party cannot just sit by and think that the 4th term, because there are some projects that will be coming on stream, will be easy. Because remember, you know, there were many projects that came on stream for the 3rd term, but the people just did not connect with these projects. And if you attempt to do the same thing, using the same approach and the same strategy, you're going to get the same result. It's going to be difficult. Don't believe so the PNP with 28. Just go and sit on one side and lap them tail and say, you know what? We're going to this easy because we have less ground to cover now. No. And it means, therefore, that this is going to be an all-out battle when the next election comes. And the Prime Minister, being the leader of the party, need to now put in place some structures. Because remember this in a neighbor. A government's policy, not just come out of thin air, you know. A government's policy comes out of a group of policies that the party, the political movement, put together, examine through whichever means their committees and so forth, and decide that this is where, if we lead the country, we would want to take the country. So the government's policies must be supported by the party by way of the party's messaging to situate a policy achievement at the feet of the people. And if you fail to do that, if the Prime Minister failed to realize, I've been trying to talk to the Prime Minister for the past 3-4 years, put a team together, assemble a team. Marlon Morgan and Apka Fitzgerald have ministerial duties. What do you expect them to do? Because of disinformation and misinformation and the loads of it that are out there, people are now more distracted than ever. So you have to put something together that continue to push in at the people them face. What's happening?
I see, hold on there, protecting. I see Chops Media joining us. Don't move. Chops?
Yes, neighbor, how you do? Greetings.
You made this point very forcefully last week. But in truth and in fact, Chops, and a leader can set direction. Protecting was suggesting that Wholeness should take a little responsibility. But a leader can set direction, but the party must carry the load, Chops. You don't think that in the context of what we're speaking about here, that there has to be a strategic move by the party now to make sure that they are responding to the obvious existential threat that confronts it?
Yeah, I agree with you, neighbor. Greetings, everybody.
Uh-huh.
I agree with you 100%. And when the Prime Minister made a statement a few months ago about we have to address this whole issue of misinformation in a more aggressive way, and I don't remember the exact quotation from him. You can remind me of the quotation, neighbor, when he spoke.
Well, I don't know. I think he declared war.
Right, which is the declaration of war against misinformation. That was the cue given to the party and the party operatives.
So where is the war?
Well, if you promote your colonels and your generals and remove them from the field, and you're now making them I'm trying to find the exact terminology. When you remove a general from the field, you call a general home, was stationed out in the Middle East, leading the troops out there. And you bring that general home and you put them in the Pentagon as a senior officer there, overseeing what's going on in the Pentagon. What happened to the troops out in the Middle East? Who directed those troops?
So you are saying that it's not that the troops are not available, but they don't have any commando.
Neighbor, the depth to which I'd love to have this discussion cannot be done on social media. That's just the only issue. That's the only problem I have. But if I were to tell you in an open way what has happened to us and where we are, you'd cry shame. But I cannot say it because it is just not for me to say.
Wow.
Somebody who has been a part of the system, as said to you before, I've served on the communication task force for years. So I'm not speaking just as a regular Joe Blow.
Yeah, but Chops, help us a little bit more than that, man. The party, there are many people who have invested much in the party, you know, sir. And there is a fear in Jamaica that Jamaica must not reverse the progress it has made. Many people are suggesting that there is no way that the PNP should be getting any leeway to get back into power anytime soon. No. So that's that fear over there. Many people are right now worried that can they do it for the fourth term, and you know, all of that. So you must help us a little bit more than that.
The feeling I'm getting, neighbor, there is definitely a sense of complacency as it relates to the political machine.
And we're not talking about communications only. You're talking about the political work on the ground.
Right, the political machinery that covers communications and everything else.
Yes.
There's a certain level, and I would not just say a certain level, there's a high level of complacency. Ask yourself this question. When was the last time you heard of a Area Council 4 meeting?
Haven't heard any political work since the election at all, you know, sir.
Think about it. Just ask yourself the question again and ask people in the chat. They'll be able to tell you. When was the last time we hold a Area Council meeting? That's just one. That's just one. Remember now, Area Council meeting is the party's business. That's where the party's local machinery in the 4 area councils are handled. When was the last time we had an area council meeting? That's one. Two, like I said in a neighbor, I am somewhat restrained to go.
I know, but I think what you are doing is helping
I'm trying, and that's what I'm trying to do.
It's not criticism, you know, Chops. The fact is, you are a laborite. You are a laborite. Yes, and whatever you are saying is because you want to help the party. But let me move you from that from being so uncomfortable. The fact is that the leader of the party carries the burden of governance.
Yes,
But
and should not carry the burden of the general secretary.
He has to be carrying the burden, the battle of explanation. Isn't that where you need to correct the strategy there? Not to allow the prime minister to be governing and explaining at the same time. Shouldn't there be some explainers in the party, man?
Well, they are. They're excellent explainers in the party. But the problem is a lot of persons are caught up with themselves rather than the work of the party or the work of the government. Let me give you an example, neighbor. During the last election, and protecting you, you are quite aware of what I'm saying here. During the last election, the party mobilized perhaps one of the best communications team that we have ever seen. And when I say the best communication team, it was very late in the game, but it was extremely effective. What they had was a couple of tiers. In other words, they had different levels to the communication. But at the end of the communication, it trickles right down to the common voter. I said it on your program, and I said it on my open discussion the other day, that the party communication apparatus, the mechanism that the party has today, is second to none in the Caribbean.
Oh,
the problem is that mechanism has not been activated. It was activated months before the last election. It was never maximized, but it was activated. It was very effective, but I sense a certain level of deactivation at this point. And it is obvious because what pertains then doesn't exist now. Some of the very players who are part of that team, and I speak specifically of persons like Marlon Morgan, APCA, and others. And I'm not saying that they are not communicating. No, they are still communicating. But if we are to be honest with ourselves, the capacity in which they operate now applies a certain level of restraint. And for that reason, I don't think they are as effective as they were then. Perhaps for good reasons. Perhaps they, if you ask them, they'll say to you, well, we don't need to be activated now. We need to just relax and govern until closer to an election. Probably that's what they're saying. But if you learn from your past, or if you learn from history, you'll recognize that that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because what
do you think hold on a minute there for me,
yes.
Chaps. Coming back to you. Projecting?
Yes, neighbor, I'm here.
The messengers. Do you think that the messengers are the correct ones? Should we look at those? The messengers. Are the messengers the right one? And I want you to place that in the context of the environment that we are operating in.
The environment we're operating in now is not an environment for a trained media journalist to be communicating with nobody at all. And I mean that kind of sound away, but as some talk, hush. The environment we're operating in now, I pop up every now and again from a former media practitioner. What that media practitioner should be used to do in the party, because he understands media and communication, is to put together a strategy that people like Chops, not me, because I don't have time for that, but like you, they should be presenting themselves on platforms like yours to have down-to-earth discussion. Neighbor, listen to me. You say if you try to talk to me, don't talk over my head. And let me give you an easy way how you will talk over my head. You will talk over my head by giving me a sentence with 10 big words when me have to go through Google and try to find the meaning before me respond to you. And nonsense that, brother. That don't make no sense.
Yes.
If you are going to talk to me and me have to go call my grandson or my granddaughter, go find a word there for me. I don't know how you look for this a word there, because I don't even know where they say. So sit look. Pause it, then don't make it say nothing no more. What the hell is that? All right, let me give you a perfect example. Camille Buchanan, who now runs the Bellevue, she's making a meal. She's making a meal of communication. She is communicating to the wider public how the Bellevue run, how to treat with Bellevue patients, how to deal with people, to remove stigma and all of that. She's doing that. Every time she posts a skit in one go, it's funny, it's relatable, and people now are beginning to understand that particular situation.
Yes.
You cannot wait, as Chap say, as something pop up. As she, friend, the lady before was saying, you have to speak to people continuously, especially now we're still in the middle of a crisis in the neighbor.
Yes.
We're still in the middle of a crisis. I don't want to hear the Prime Minister going to talk about and the Minister of Finance or 10 billion. Hello, until a few years ago, I never even know how much zero go behind one to make a billion.
That is true.
And when you do this, when a man roof drop off and house stop or blow off, and him need you to come with 10 sheet of zinc, tell the man say 10 sheet of zinc is $60,000, and you're gonna get this $60,000 to get 10 sheet of zinc. When you tell him that, you're speaking to him. When you're talking about $10 billion relief fund, a man losing your stop and all him and say, yeah man, 8 billion of that, whatever it is, are going in somebody's pocket. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I cannot just sit by, neighbor. That's why you hear me talk the way me talk, you know. I cannot just sit by knowing that I love Jamaica so much and knowing the things I know, that it is only the Jamaica Labour Party who have ever moved Jamaica forward. And I just sit down and see the party I feel. Them I feel the Prime Minister, them I feel themselves, but the Prime Minister has to take some blame. The Prime Minister has to take easy head of the unit. Him in charge. And if you are in charge, nothing wrong if you cannot stick to the day-to-day operation, you know. Set the parameters, set the structures, and then go do what you do and watch it play out. And it needs to be done. Look how Darrell, somebody mentioned Darrell Vaz. Look how Darrell operate out there. Darrell, go out there and talk to people and make people understand what's going on. We are going to turn on your light and the 150 million. Can you imagine if they never have somebody like Darrell to explain how this is going to work? Just imagine if they did left it to anti-faval. Oh, and it's 150 million. I know we're gonna have an interest rate. And no, Darrell said, listen me, 150 million, we're gonna lend them for them make you turn on your light. People want light. That's how you talk to people.
Well, okay. So, Chops. Harry, please come in at any time. I see Scratchy has joined. Chops.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
So the party must translate governance into language that moves people's hearts, not headlines. That's what Protecting is saying. You have to translate governance into narratives.
And he's correct.
People, huh?
He's perfectly correct. There is enough for us to look. I keep saying it.
Well, hold on, Chap. You want to tell me that the party don't know it? I don't think there is anything we are saying here that the party don't know.
It knows it, neighbor. The party knows it, and the party has the wherewithal to do it. The problem is it needs somebody to drive these processes. Yeah, it needs somebody to take the bull by the horn and decide that communication doesn't start a year before an election or 6 months before a general election. communication is something that you have to continue to do every single day. And let me tell you why it is important, neighbor. When the PNP started to make a big deal about the Prime Minister's statutory declaration,
Oh my God, I did
and
with that
made
last
so
night.
much hullabaloo over it.
By the way, pause a minute, chaps. It is one of the most dishonest thing that has been done to a prime minister in Jamaica. You know, it is
Probably in the Caribbean.
It is a terrible thing, Chops Media.
Terrible.
Okay, and for it to have appeared on a national debate stage, and for the leader of the opposition to have used it, and declarations that have yet to be certified, to give the impression that somehow the prime minister has done something wrong when the prime minister cannot certify himself.
Well, on the neighbor, well, on the chops,
go ahead.
Neighbor, you have to understand, you know, again, the cut and thrust of politics requires strategy. You see, once you hold strategy and head down a particular road, you can't just uproot and change. Now, while the opposition leader is a liar, he was being political because you're in a politics, you're in the throes, the ebbs and throes of the politics. No, the prime minister don't want dirty up his mouth or get his hands dirty. As me say, we have one of the best prime minister. Me see man suit up a go war, if we prime minister go war in a clerks. Uptown business. No. Since you don't want to get your hand dirty, the party should have already recognized who are going to be the attack dog, who are going to be this, who are going to be that, and fling them on the front line. So while on the debate stage, you know, the opposition leader is going to come with that and you don't expect the prime minister to respond a particular way. But you see, as the debate done,
yes,
the attack dog for you out there run just like a pit bull.
But protecting, they did that, you know. They did that. They were out there on the battlefield arguing the point and defending
all right.
the prime minister.
In war, Chopper, what about the preemptive moves? Preemptive
that's what I'm saying to you, that when that started, when that whole lie and misinformation about the prime minister's statutory declaration started, let me ask you this question though, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. What stopped it?
What stopped it?
Yes.
It has not stopped.
What slowed it down significantly?
You want me to be very honest with your chops?
Yes.
What slowed it down significantly is a group of vloggers, Lashika, Winner, people like myself and others who get account and sit up late at night, Dujan, and go through the report piece by piece to give people understanding out there as to what is happening. People like myself who started the preemptive strike from as far back as 2023.
But what really stopped it though? But what really stopped it? But no. It has gone down from 100 to at least 20%, if you ask me. It was always the go-to argument for the PNP, has not been that way since the Prime Minister took it to court.
Chops.
I'm saying that to you.
Stage, it was still alive and potent.
Yes, but no, what I'm saying to you, that when the Prime Minister decided to take legal action against the IC in putting the thing out there in a very organized way, pushing back, it slowed down the argument significantly. It didn't say it stopped it, but it slowed it down significantly. And I'm not taking away from what social media.
May I get on the same team, chops?
So what I'm saying to you.
People like Michelle Stern will spend countless hours and nights.
And I agree with you.
45 minutes videos.
Yes, but that didn't stop it either. But that never stopped it. They continue with it just the same.
But it has not stopped up until this point.
I'm saying to you that it has significantly reduced by the PNP because of the court action. And the point I was trying to make
was stop Mark Golding, Dayton Campbell, and Peter Bunting from talk about it. But
they were the three. Sir, you cannot stop bloggers. I'm not talking about a strategy to stop.
Yeah, but if them pay them to talk about it, them
but sir, if you are going to think that you can put a strategy in place to stop bloggers, you're wasting your time. You can't stop bloggers.
I mean, that's not about stopping bloggers. What I'm saying is
the three persons that you talk about a while ago, who the lawsuit prevented them from talking about it on a wider scale. Mark Golden, Peter Bunting, and Dave Campbell. Those were the three major ones, right? And they had significantly slowed down, neighbor. And they did so because there was a lawsuit. And the point I'm trying to make is, had that action been taken earlier, it would have stemmed the bleeding.
But even that action,
that's all I'm saying.
Chops,
that's true, Chopper, that's true.
All right, hold on there for me, please. Hold on. Well, look at the time. It's 13 to 10 o'clock. We have a little time to go. Fascinating discussion we're having here on the Politics Plus podcast. And we encourage you to continue listening to us. Please remember to follow Politics Plus 2 and like and share the program, eh? I see we have Scratchy joining us. Hello there, Scratchy. How you doing?
Bless up. Blessed night, man. Blessed night to the panel and the viewers. I'm here, man.
Well, you know, Scratchy, is the first I'm speaking to you publicly since I learned of the passing of your father. I trust that you are remaining strong, and congratulations for coming up tonight, man. Despite
definitely, neighbor. You know, it's been Sunday. I kind of feel a little better now. You know, kind of feel more. You know, the day kind of ease off. So
yes,
kind of ease the pressure. Just come on the platform to just for a little while, and then can't just stuck up in the sad moment.
Absolutely, and welcome, brother. Have a drink. You have been listening to the conversation, Scratchy. How do you feel about what you have heard so far?
I mean, neighbor, my stance on this whole thing, neighbor, about information, neighbor. I tend to look at it different, neighbor. As I often said, neighbor, I can't recall information bringing anyone in power, and I can't recall information taking power from anyone neither. We must have to look on things in the context, neighbor, of Jamaica, neighbor. Jamaica is not a country where information, no matter what the prime, maybe I'm a labor right, and no matter what PNP say when PNP in power, could never make me vote for them. So I think it's the same, neighbor, no matter what the government come with or what. The same way how the government let out information, neighbor. Everybody know when time part increase. Everybody know when time there's an increase in the minimum wage. So how they know these things, but they don't know the rest of information. People listen what they want to, neighbor, and run it what they want to, neighbor. No matter how much information is out there. And everyone know what is going on, neighbor. But persons just take on to what they want to take on. Everybody know when time part increase. Nobody going to do nothing extra, nothing special when part increase. Nothing extra, nothing special is done when time there's an increase in the minimum wage. And everybody know these things. So information, neighbor, I don't think, neighbor, these people matter about information. I don't think Jamaica is a country, neighbor. Yes, there's a small demographic group of our population that has to do with the information, neighbor. But you have a next group, neighbor, who don't want to believe it or not, neighbor. Come election days, money these people want to vote for. So I can't just stop on it and say information. Information not doing nothing. Yeah. When I look at everybody who's against the government, neighbor.
How do you explain those Scratchy that there is a general feeling among many laborites that, and many Jamaicans too, that this government has outdone any other in our history? And when you look at the statistics, they are fantastic, Scratchy. But that the statistics have to be translated to lived realities. And that is the point I think that is being made, that you could do the best you can, unless the people feel that this change is happening to them, they're likely not to support you.
When these people feel the change at my neighbor, they are not gonna, neighbor. You're gonna think in the body of Mark Golden constituency business about what Andrew Willis want to sort time out, neighbor, what Andrew Willis want to come with. You think anybody living in a Anthony Hilton constituency business what Andrew Willis want to come with, neighbor? These people don't care, neighbor. These people vote one way. Jamaica is a place, neighbor, where we are already diehard. We already choose our side. And it doesn't matter. You could have been more, neighbor. I told you, neighbor, we're gonna use the 2025 election to judge forward. And what I saw in the 2025 election, neighbor, show me that Jamaica is not a country where these people want any form of information. These people want any performance or anything like that, neighbor. These people just stick to whichever political side them align to and whatever perks them can get come the particular day, which is election day. They don't care. They don't care whosoever, neighbor. I can guarantee you that whosoever need to know what is going on, they all know what is going on, neighbor. And who don't concern, look on your live right now, we have 200 person up here, almost 300. This is not the majority. This is way not even close to the majority. But these are the persons who are concerned. So that's a minority, neighbor, who want information.
But Scotchy,
you want information, me want information, and Chaps want information. A large population of folks don't want any information.
But Scotchy, can I ask you a question? To
Sure.
you, neighbor.
Yeah, go ahead.
You spoke about two demography. You spoke about persons living in the Mark Golden constituency. And I would juxtapose that with the ones living in Andrew Holness's constituency. The vast majority of persons living in his constituency is going to vote for Andrew, and the vast majority who living in Golden's constituency is going to vote for Golden. Now, there are other constituencies, though, Scratchy, that flex between both. They are marginal, they are closer, they have a lot of independent thinkers, they have persons who deal with the issues. How do you put that argument out there, knowing very well that not the entire voting population in Jamaica are not dieharded? And a matter of fact, the ones that you require to win the election are the ones that you require pedal the election. Have that echo going on there, neighbor? The ones that determine the election, Scratchy, are the ones that sits in the middle and decide to go either way. Could go Mark Golden way or could go Andrew Holness's way. And when you put an argument out there and feed that base, that particular demographic with information, they are the ones who are good. I agree with you that the person who lives in a Mark Golden constituency has absolutely no interest in information. It doesn't matter what you tell them, they're not going to change. Same thing for the ones living in Anthony Hilton. And you could say the same thing for the ones living in Tivoli Gardens too.
Exactly.
However, there are those who sit in the middle, the independent thinkers, the ones who make a decision based on the information in front of them. If you don't put the information to them, then you're leaving them up to the hands of whomever first get to their ears or whomever can present them with some money.
But Chaps, would you also agree that this group that you're talking is a more educated group, or who are persons who have the ability to can research and persons who understand what is going on? The words that we're talking about, we say we need to break it down and break down this. Don't you think that this group that you're talking is that demographic group that have an understanding of how country operate, how governance operate, and how structure? These are the ones that cannot be easily bought. Don't you?
Yeah, but you have to. But the information is what is going to inform those persons.
But the information
when
is
they do the
Chaps.
When they do the research, no. But when they do the research, Scratchy, is the information that you posit in the space that is going to help them to make a decision. You know. So
yes,
I'm saying this to say to you, no, it's not. It's not there until you and I put it out there. It's not out there until you and I break it down and put it out there.
No, but you and I have to get it from somewhere. So where's that source that you and I have to get it from?
Good, exactly. Now you're talking. But we have to be a part of the machinery that puts the information out there. I said it to neighbor the other night. I said a lot of us on social media, a lot of the labor rights, and if you look at, I'll give you this example. Look at a couple of the podcasts. Look at a couple of the lives. Look at how they are structured, look at the level of discourse, look at the discussion, and look at the quality of the information coming out of them. And you will understand what I'm talking about. We, as social media practitioners, have a responsibility to take the information that we have the mechanism to gather. And we need to package that information and put it in the space so that when the independent mind goes out there to do a research, they're going to find a Scratchy, a screen record with Scratchy explaining something about the government. They're going to find a Protecting JA explaining a couple of government initiatives and what government has done. If we don't do that, we are wasting our time on social media because we are asking, in other words, there are some persons who ask, what the party I do? What the party I do? Who is the party, neighbor?
Well, it is.
Did you know that
Those are gathered here tonight.
And the very same persons who are asking that question as to what the party needs to do, they are the card-carrying members of the party.
But seriously though, I have about 20 questions to ask the panel, and I'd like to start that round of questioning. But I want you to answer me this do chat. Isn't there a feeling genuinely in Jamaica that there is a communication vacuum on the ground, that somehow there is a disconnect? Isn't there a feeling across the space?
There is that feeling, and there is some truth to it. It is not in its entirety factual, because there are some level of communication. No matter of fact.
Okay. So
if you look at the last election, neighbor, the level of communication that JLP had was the best they have ever communicated in history. And they still did not come up with more seats than we had. So you're asking yourself the question, what was it? And my answer to that is, yes, we had a good communications going into the election, but I think that communication was needed earlier. And that is why having this discussion now at this stage in the game is very, very important. And I'm hoping
I think so too.
that the powers that be are listening to this conversation and will understand that what we're simply saying is that what you did 6 to 8 months before the last general election, in terms of moving the election, moving the communications apparatus, activating it, I did not think it was maximized. I think that there was a lot more we could have done, but we did very well. I'm just simply saying, let us re-examine what we did, double down, and start earlier. Start now. Start now. Don't wait for 2 years down the road to get started. Start now.
I'm gonna come at you quickly. Harry, are you there?
I'm here, neighbor.
Yeah. Harry, how damaging has social media disinformation been to the government? How damaging do you think it has been?
Well, it has done in terms of, well, I want to put it this way, neighbor. It has been a targeted approach in terms of hurting the credibility of the government itself, and that is an extension as well of the leader, because that's where
so you are saying that bloggers online on TikTok, that I was listening to one of them, they had about 40 people up there. You're saying that cumulatively on the government?
It is, neighbor. It is. Wow. Because what we've seen is that, things have been put out to first demonize the leader, and then right after that, because Mr. Holness is the face of the entire operation, and as such, whatever is done by him and the current administration will be seen in the same light, which is questionable. And that is one of the things, I guess, why he would have written to the IC as well, to ensure that that issue is cleared up as quickly as possible, so they can pull back and clean up things in the air, which shouldn't really have been out there from the get-go. But we understood, taking a step back, how they would have approached things and so on, which this is now the repercussions of the lack of approach, right? And it spreads right down to the very administration, where everything is fully questionable. Now, it is one as well, neighbor, where we've seen it, as Shop said, it's slowed down. The reason why it's slowed down is that the source at which this attack is coming from is running out of fuel. And they are now even putting their foot in their mouths. And as such, if we look at even their press conference, we see a little shift. What they wanted to speak on, the media, for some reason, for the first time since the election, has veered away from that. The media doesn't want to speak of what the current opposition want to. And as such, they have something that they want to speak on, and the opposition has been running away from that, or certainly trying to sidestep it in many ways, and so on. And that is the reason why I'm saying they are running out of fuel, because one, the recovery is doing pretty well. the fact that the Prime Minister is also questioning the IC as to what's happening, they don't have enough to keep going, right? And as such, they're running out. So the effect that they thought they had, and I would have mentioned this, I said it a month or so ago, that this is not something they can keep up, certainly not for 4 or 5 years. And as such, they will soon be running on empty, and that just might be coming far quicker than I thought. So that is one of the things that is also helping. And I think this might be the strategy from Mr. Holness, thinking that it would have died down. But the truth still remains is that this should have never garnered so much strength from the get-go, especially not around the election time, which could have swung the other way, right? Because we've seen what happened. And as such, no, you have people still doubting. So the doubts are there, but they aren't publicly questioning outright now the current administration and the Prime Minister. Now, if a conversation is struck, then you'll hear people speak about it, but you don't find them coming in the droves and being brazen as before. But if you give them enough, it will kind of spark everything again. So it has gone a great way. And I think also because people has now gone back to a level of normalcy in their lives, trying to get things moving, they don't have that fire again to fuel all of this going forward.
Fantastic. We have a new guest, Monica Minto. Hello, Monica. Okay. I'm not hearing Monica. I wonder if she has fallen asleep. Hello there, Monica. Not hearing Monica. Let me go to Protecting Jamaica. Protecting, are you there? No, he's not there either. Okay, Shafreen, are you there still?
Yes, neighbor.
Yeah,
So,
you wanted to say something?
yes, I did. So the Jamaica Labour Party needs to understand that right now we have two different set of say organizations happening concurrently. One is the 35 seats in government, right, and being the leader of the government. The second part, which I think this is where they dropped the ball, is the Jamaica Labour Party, as in the party itself. So the party would benefit from growing in membership, right? And it doesn't matter where they're from. Usually people want to see themselves being better. One of the desires that they can actually use to help with that is asking them, the Jamaican people are having like a campaign going around with just, volunteers from the party. What are your values? What is it that you want in life? Right? And those things typically, for as far as like what people want, typically aligns with the Jamaica Labour Party. Unfortunately, they're not good at communicating that. So the Jamaica Labour Party's platform, for instance, fiscal responsibility, right? Increasing your ability to have upward mobility in your life, having good healthcare, good education for your children, and even for yourself. Do you want to own a house? Do you want to own a car? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish in your life, right? These are the things that people would be more emotionally attached to, and they're tangible things that that the Jamaica Labour Party, as you can see, based on all these graphs that they show, which is not translated into how people communicate, right? Then you see that it's actually working and it's benefiting the Jamaican people. But the growing in the membership, targeting the Gen Zs, and finding out where their values, their core values lie, whether that be that they are religious or whatsoever. These are things that the Jamaica Labour Party is typically synonymous with, right? And so growing the membership and using what people want to see improve in their lives, I think that would definitely benefit the party. And even in the future with the next election, right? Just around the corner. I know this one just passed, but 4 years is not, 5 years is not a long time, right? So now is the time to start growing the party and getting the people engaged on the ground, right?
Yes.
Beyond social media, because when these people come out on social media and spread their lies, the people are going to know. Once they're involved, they're in the party and they see what's happening. They're gonna know that these people are just lying, and they have ulterior motives, right? So the education piece, which is something also that I thought, which would be to start educating people from now, like the youngsters. That's going to pay off later. But in the short term, on the ground, volunteers, going around, getting new members, recruiting new members. And I think that would definitely benefit the party.
I'm here now, neighbor.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Shafin. Don't move. Protecting as I head towards the close here. What does rebuilding the party's machinery look like in practical terms, going forward, protecting? And what does rebuilding of the political communication machinery looks like in practical
Neighbor, in practical terms, which is to some people may not be that practical. Let me respond to you this way, neighbor. Neighbor, do you believe in 2025, 2026, there should be any Jamaican at all in Jamaica who don't know that education became a mainstay and it was institutionalized in Jamaica by the Jamaica Labour Party led by Bustamante? It started in 1944. Do you believe that any Jamaican should be in Jamaica who don't know that? Neighbor, do you believe that any Jamaican in Jamaica now should really be walking about, eating, drinking, living without knowing that independent Jamaica was fought for by one man called Alexander Bustamante and won by him because Norman Washington Manley was not interested in Jamaica getting self-government and independence. You see?
So it begins with that. Go ahead.
The Jamaica Labour Party is in a precarious position, but I don't think they realize, because even though they have institutional rebuilding to do, and I'm talking about the party, they also have a certain level of institutional building to do, because nobody in Jamaica don't know say the Jamaica Labour Party fought for Jamaica to be independent. Nobody in Jamaica don't know say the Jamaica Labour Party started education, institutionalized education in Jamaica started in 1944. Nobody in Jamaica knows that health care and all the other things came about in Jamaica and institutionalized and nationalized by the Jamaica Labour Party. So we have to start there, because there are people, there are big people like me and your neighbor who don't know. Just imagine those who will be coming of age. And I'm talking about voting age. Just imagine those who are now a part of the political discussion, even though they are not yet of age to vote. Yes. Who believed for 19 years that is the PMP build Jamaica. But now that they hear this, they are hearing it from me and you. They have never heard it from the JLP itself, which should be leading the message of establishing itself. So the Jamaica Labour Party in a neighbor has not managed to establish itself in Jamaica. And that is where the problem lies. And so I'll respond to you that way, neighbor.
Protecting.
Wow.
Yes, boss.
That's a whole mouthful there, but I have to say this to you. I have to jump in right there. Sorry, guys, but I have to correct you on something because it would be remiss of me to be here and not comment on that because it is not true in its entirety. Because first of all, we can't say that most, you say all Jamaican, nobody don't know, and that's not true because you and I has been at this for the last 2 years or so, preaching the exact things that you're talking about. And I'm quite certain that we have been successful in educating a significant amount of persons, converting some who were PNP supporters into supporting the JLP simply because we were effective in communicating the facts to them. We have done that. We've been doing that over the last 2 years. And it has been successful. So to say that a lot of persons don't know, or people don't know these things.
But Chaps, you just proved my point just now. Because the idea that this is the PNP that built Jamaica was nationalized by the PNP. What has the Jamaica Labour Party done to nationalize its very interest? Because it should be in the self-interest of the party to establish its footing rightly where they belong. All right, look at it. The party really doesn't seem to understand the politics. Just as recently as leading up to September 3rd election, the last general election, the discussion was rife in the public concerning Edward Seaga being the father of Portmore. And what did the PNP do? The PNP found a comrade at the National Archive to change up some information there and put it up on the archive website to say that it was Norman Manley.
Yeah, but protecting again, that is something that we can always. There's no evidence to support that is factual. We can surmise that, but the truth is
right. So it's a lie. But
no, I'm just saying to you,
showing you the politics and the strategy.
Yeah, but you cannot prevent the PNP from politicizing an argument.
But that's what I'm saying, chaps. We don't have to lie. We can put the truth out there, barely establishing the Jamaica Labour Party. Because we don't have to lie. We don't have to twist
all of us, but protecting all of us, yourself, myself, and any other Jamaican who believe in Jamaica and who believe in the leadership of Andrew Holness. Nobody needs to knock on my door and call me to tell me that I should jump on neighbor's program if I pass by here and a discussion is going on that requires some, clarification that I can provide. I have a responsibility in making sure that I tap that live and jump in and give my 2 cents. And hopefully somebody will listen to what I'm saying and I can provide. I've done it all the time, provide some clarity.
Institutional credibility is important. If media work and my co-worker can tell me, say, boy, you don't know about the changes them way happen in an organization. I not listen to nothing what I say. If I don't see a memo or I don't hear it from management.
Yeah, but are you saying that the party has not communicated none of these things out there?
Chopper.
No,
having this information on the party's website is different.
I'm not talking about website. I'm talking about basic communication coming from operatives within the party.
The last time I hear the leader of the party say them now go back down in a history and they not talk about the past. Them talk about
when did the leader say that?
How do you
when did the leader? No, protected. Slow down, man. Let us because you're saying some things that I cannot leave it unchallenged because it will become fact to some people. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
when did the leader say that?
That was
not going back down.
I will find it and share it with you.
It's not true. That's not true. And I put that to you.
No, it is true.
Secondly, ask another question. And it's surprising that you and I sing from the same hymnal, but I have to challenge you because I'm not going to leave an argument that is not surrounded by facts or grounded by facts.
I will find the tape and share it with you.
The other question I'm going to ask you. You said that if it doesn't come in the form of a memo from the leader, and I'm using the leader here now based on your analogy earlier.
No. Hold on. What I'm trying to say is there are a lot of people in the society, chaps. If them not hear it from the center of influence,
Which
Because
is
we
which
have
is
to
who? Which
understand.
is who? Who would be the center of influence
The
in this?
center of
this?
influence is the party. If them just
And
hear
who is the
some
party?
bloggers.
Who is the
Okay,
party?
all right, hold on.
Who is the party?
PMP, well I know. PMP of course say bloggers a tell lie, and JLP of course say PMP bloggers a tell lie. So there are people when they hear things from bloggers, you know.
Who are
able
the
to take it
party?
with a
Who you
grain
refer
of
to as a
salt.
party? Who would you want to hear
All right, let
from
me ask.
that
You
you
have asked
haven't
me some
heard from?
questions. You have
Yes.
asked me some questions. Let me ask you one question now.
No, but answer mine
Why
first.
isn't it? I'm answering you this way. Why isn't it that the party don't see it important to put together a program that informs Jamaica and Jamaicans of the establishment of Jamaica and the part that the party has played in the establishment of Jamaica? Why is it that the party is leaving it up to people to go on their website because Sister Buster, they build the first 120?
But I don't understand you. I don't understand you though, because there have been several campaigns on social media and tradition. Hold on a second. And you are a member of several WhatsApp group, another organization that have disseminated this information. So I don't understand the basis of that argument.
People want to
hold
hear.
On a second.
Just
hold
like
on
how
a second,
people,
my brother.
Hold on a second. How people spent 19 years to hear from the PMP that a Norman Manley do this and a Michael Manley do that. People want to hear from the JLP that it is a JLP who did this and it is a JLP
referring
who did
to the JLP. Who is the JLP, sir?
Oh, you don't know the JLP now?
Who is the JLP?
The JLP is the JLP.
Who is the JLP?
The JLP, come on.
Are you a member of the JLP?
Of course I am a member of the
Then
JLP.
if you are the member of the JLP, take some responsibility.
But
you are. So let me ask you something. If you are the JLP, don't you think that your time would be better spent disseminating the very same information that you have? You have those information. And for the last 20 minutes or 30 minutes, we are here. Don't you think that our time would be better spent?
Chopper,
hold on a second, man. Slow down. Allow me.
I usually don't have a lot of time. I have spent the last 3 years doing the very same thing you're saying. But look at it this way. As I said to you, communication is a funny thing, you know, especially political communication. People want to hear from the center of influence when it comes on to politics.
Who is the center of influence? I keep asking you these questions and you're not answering.
What kind of platform do I have? I have a platform with a few thousand people that I started 3 years ago. The party has a national platform, an international platform, a global platform. Why is it then that they don't see it important to make people know, say, education established in Jamaica by the JLP, tourism established in Jamaica by the JLP, culture established in Jamaica by the JLP, the very reggae music and dancehall music was started by Edward Siaga.
Sir, stop for a second, sir. Every single thing that you have just mentioned has been put in the space by the Jamaica Labour Party.
When and how?
Through videos, through writings, through every single means. And you know that too.
Chopper.
You were a part of that campaign.
Chopper, I want you to understand.
So I don't want, you see the problem I have. Hold on a second, my brother. The difficulty I have with this discussion is that the very persons who are a part of the JLP who keeps pointing to the party, not recognizing, neighbor, that they are the party. And what I'm simply saying that the solution to the problem that you have.
By the way, do you think though, Chops, that there is inclusivity where these people are meant to feel that they are part of the party? Because, for example, Protecting Jamaica, with his vast experience, and I don't know him, I only have heard him on social media here. How has the party formally brought him into the being? Into using his skills and talents to do the things that you're asking for? Is there inclusivity? Do people feel a part of the process?
I don't know at what level Protecting operates.
Neighbor. Let him respond. No, Protecting. Hold on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You see, this is a part of there are people, you know, who would really love to be. There are people who would really love to walk away from the PMP. like I did.
Oh.
And it is difficult for them because the way that Jamaica Labour Party practices politics, it's weird and alien to them. When we would have been exposed to the kind of politics where the PMP, them have branch meeting, them have community, them have this, and then come in at the Citizen Association. And if them have spent 3 hours to tell us, yeah, Norman Manley do this, and Michael Manley do that, 3 hours the whole entire meeting. So when them inoculate you like that locally, and then when them take their messaging broad and nationally, how do you in a little space from TikTok with almost 4,000 followers when we just get 2 years ago? And it's not my 9 to 5, nobody not pay me if you do this. So me have a small following. How do you counter a kind of indoctrination like that? How do you do that? I have never seen a community citizens association meeting with a JLP representative in there. Me grew up in a PMP family, in a PMP community. I have never seen a PMP member.
That indoctrination lose three consecutive elections can protecting that not going away. That implies that indoctrination they fail. They lose 3 consecutive
No man,
elections.
you know, understand what me I say no. The PMP did it, telling a lie. All we need to do is to copy that kind of approach, telling the truth. Because, listen me, as we move into the information age, as we move into the Internet of Things, it will become harder and harder even for traditional media to get through to people. But people still need to be told. We live in a society where almost half of the society, they're on the margin. And we have to
But does society want to hear that though? Does that matter to them though?
Hello, people will warm up to what you tell them they must hear. Notice in dictatorships, there's streamlined communication to the people. So people are taught and told what to listen to. We have to see the importance. All right, are we going to continue to buy votes? When it reaches a stage now where Jamaican dollar reached 1 trillion to 1, how are we going to be able to afford that? We have to begin to appeal to the better parts of people.
Are you foreseeing Jamaican dollar reaching 1 trillion to 1, sir?
I don't know, and I don't know, and it might not be. But the point is, how much longer are we going to continue this thing about buying votes?
Listen, I want you to do me a favor. Take a moment, and to ask yourself the question, right? Instead of asking pointing your finger at what the party needs to do, the party. And I keep saying to you that you are a member of the party. The party is you, the party is me. Okay? There's no single individual called JLP. JLP is made up of members and individuals who collectively do what needs to be done to influence vote. I'm simply saying to you, what you're saying here now is counterproductive, because the truth is, if you were to look at the last 15 years, the JLP has been in power. We might not have gotten everything right, but I will tell you one thing. We won a 3rd term last September, and that was historical for the JLP. I will tell you something else, whether you want to believe it or not, that the JLP's performance in the last general election is the best that this party has ever performed. And nobody can take that away from them. And one thing I will not do is to sit idly by. I don't agree with every single thing that the party has done. I don't agree with how we approach everything. And I've said it here, that I believe that the party's communication needs to be more consistent with what they did leading up to the last election. I've said that. I said there's a void because 2 of the major players in the communication task force, Robert well, not Robert Morgan. Well, of course, Robert too, because Robert has been elevated to a minister of government, doing an excellent job there. Marlon Morgan has been elevated to senator. Same thing goes for Nestor Abkafit-Senley. And I believe, in my humble way, that because of these guys being elevated to those positions, and they are doing an excellent job there, it creates a void in this space for communication. They are not as dedicated as they used to be or available as they used to be. And I can understand that. But I will not come here and to bash the party or to say they have not been doing this or they can't do this or they're not. It's not true. Hold on, because
where was the succession planning? Those people move up with the succession planning.
Sir, slow down for a second. Allow me, because you have spoken a lot. You have said a lot. And one thing I said I will not do is to walk away and leave what you say to become facts, because it is not true. The party has done exceptionally well to secure a third term. Very, very well. What a lot of people fail to recognize is that globally, neighbor, globally, we've been going through what one would describe as an anti-incumbency syndrome. For the last, 20 years or so, incumbents came under a lot of pressure. And even very well in the Caribbean here, we've seen the change of government and incumbents have been under pressure.
Well, we are watching to see what happens come February 11th in Barbados. Let me ask you this, Chopper. If Jamaica is truly better today than it was a decade ago, why does it still feel like an unsettled argument?
Say that one more time, neighbor.
If Jamaica is truly better today than it was a decade ago, why does that still feel like an unsettled argument?
I don't know if it is an unsettled argument, because I think sometimes
it would have to be unsettled, Chops, when you look at the fact that so many Jamaicans voted against the party in the last.
You know what this means, neighbor? You know what this means? You know what this is identical to?
Yes.
The Jamaicans going to the Olympic with how many countries? 100 countries or 120 countries participating in the 100 meter. And a little country like Jamaica comes up with a silver, and everybody drop them head down and feel sad and broken, because we have grown so accustomed to winning gold. Correct? We medaled, we medaled, and we came up with a silver, but people are sad, not recognizing that even with a silver, you'd have punched above your weight.
Yes, Chop, but that is the point. The point is that on all accounts, for you, for me, for many people listening to this program, Jamaica has progressed significantly ahead. We've done well.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't hear that. You don't hear that coming out of the conversation, neighbor. You want to hear that. All right, this conversation, let me not say the conversation generally. I'm not getting that from protected, right? Protecting is.
Listen to me,
No. Listen to what I'm saying to you, man. Right. I'm telling you, I'm the receiving end of your conversation, and I'm telling you what I am hearing from you. You're not giving credit where credit is due and criticize where criticism is due. You get what I'm saying, neighbor? That is what I'm feeling. I'm not saying that the part, but remember, neighbor, you and I have had this conversation before.
Yeah.
And while I might not be as critical as can be, because we are responsible enough to know when and where to have certain conversations. Yeah. We know when and where as responsible JLP supporters and members. We know when and where. Let me tell you something. I have lived with this party being in opposition for 18 and a half consecutive years.
But
And they were not in opposition.
But Chopper, that is the very passion that
Yeah, but I want you to listen. No. I want you to listen to the ending of my conversation, my argument first. We've been in opposition for 18 and a half years. And we were not in opposition simply because the PNP were better at governance than the JLP. We were in opposition because of our own doing. It was internal fighting and tearing down of the party that kept us in opposition. It was never the PNP's performance. Because, as a matter of fact, that period of 18 and a half years were the worst years of any political party in this country. And they were able to win consecutive elections. You know why? Yes, because we were not responsible in our behavior as members of the party. We did not take responsibility as members of the party, right? Instead of dealing with issues in a professional and amicable way, we choose to go ballistic a lot of times. And I'm cautioning my brother here that there's a time and a place to discuss and to get changes, right? We don't get results by coming here and launching a broadside against the party. It doesn't work like that. A matter of fact, the JLP that I know don't respond to that.
Yeah,
and I would caution you on that.
Good caution. But I really think that there is a general